Yes, no. And it's your heart rate will get lower and lower as your endurance gets better and as aerobically you get in better shape. But in times of stress, it's not going to work. I mean, in times of stress, your heart rate is naturally going to be higher, and we don't want that. So it's just a process so that when you do get stressed and your heart rate's a little bit higher, it's not going to lead to heart disease or heart attacks or high blood pressure. So that's the point of doing cardiovascular exercises, because your heart is a heart. Therefore, it needs to be strengthened. And that's why, doing cardio is important, because it will lower your heart rate. So when you are stressed, your heart rate doesn't get so high that now you're going to start having high blood pressure and heart disease.
I have one. So my insight was actually from our discussion on Tuesday, not realizing that doing strength training and then cardio after will help burn more fat. Not even something that was on my radar. So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Roxanne.
Yes.
And I've been monitoring my heart. I want to know what my resting heart rate is.
Yes.
And I know I spoke already, but the 180 minus your weight, minus your, not your weight, your age, that would be a negative number. Sorry, minus your age. It doesn't take much for me to get there right now. And I know my endurance will build just because I've, but it doesn't take much. It really doesn't.
No, and that's a good point, because when phenylmalatone, and in this handout or in this tool where it talks about physical exercise, and I talk about aerobic threshold here, I talk about phenylmalatone, and one of the big things that that he said, like when I was trying to follow that 180 minus my age heart rate as I do cardio, I am telling you that I was walking a mile, like walking it, because my heart rate would get too high. And then within, I think it was 6 weeks or 7 weeks, I was able to do like an 8.5 minute mile pace with my heart rate at the same, like 130 or whatever it was, 135. So that was huge. And that's what we need to work towards. At first, for people that are running all the time and you're trying to stay in that zone, you're going to feel frustrated, because you're going to be like, well, why is I feel like I'm not even doing anything. What's the point of walking? But all this is a process, and it's real important to start there, and slowly, as you start going faster and faster, you're going to realize your heart rate is still going to stay in that range. And that's what you want to do. That's healthy. I mean, that's the way, and it might be frustrating for those of us who, exercise and their heart rate's on the higher side, but in time, you just have to trust the process. Your heart rate will stay in that zone as you get faster and faster. Jim Butcher is in the house.
All right, for those of you who may have missed it, we decided today as a group that we're going to talk about health first and our insights and wins at the same time. So that's where we're at, and then we'll move on to the business. And then when we get to questions and focus, we'll bring everything back together. So does anybody else have health insight or win they want to share with the group today? Go ahead, Julia.
Now, this week in my workout, we're doing like interval week. So I noticed that the heart rate goes up and down, and I know that's really good for your heart, and just losing more calories maybe, or whatever. But also a good thing is a reminder just to be stretching. I know that's one of my weaknesses, is just spending time on stretching and having the right stretches. So I think that is something big, and that has helped a little bit, just spending time in the beginning and at the end to stretch a little bit more.
Right. And I want to also stress one thing that we talked about a tiny bit, and then we got off Tuesday, is we talked about the dashboard, creating the dashboard in your office, like knowing, how much money, revenues or whatever. Well, the same thing with exercise. Really, I think it's a good idea to have a dashboard for exercise, whether it's one could be your weight, the other could be what's your resting heart rate, one could be during exercise, what is my heart rate, what was the range? Like I always watch that. It was like from 105 to 135. I mean, watch the range and how long you exercise. Also, how long did you stretch after you worked out? Like, what was the time that you stretched every day, or even for the week? And then, also I think it's important is how much water are you drinking daily? Because that's a big obstacle for a lot of people, including me. So you need to think of where your areas of concern on and make your dashboard for exercise, because that's something you can make sure that you're targeting and you're looking at either on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And so, and not so much, weight's not so important, but that's just a number that everybody likes to look at. So we know, and also I would probably include in their measurements, if you don't have a machine to measure your body fat, you could do measurements. What's my, my waist measurement for this week and my hip measurement for this week, and kind of watch that as well. Because it doesn't matter what the scale says, as long as your waist is getting smaller, you're doing something right. Those would be good metrics to follow. Any other questions?
She just has something. She told me she lost 2 pounds last week. She missed Tuesday. Sorry.
Yep, that's right.
That's awesome.
And also, like, I just wanted to share, so I've been doing better, throughout the week and looking forward always to like the weekend. So for the cheat meal, so before I think it was like, okay, well, I will eat a lot, but now because that I do so well during the week, I don't do as bad, like for the cheat meal, and I can, like, for example, if I could drink maybe like 3 or 4 glasses of wine, now it's like 2 is enough, or maybe 1, it's like, oh, that's enough. So my body, it's like getting used to being good, even though I'm cheating a little bit. So
that's great.
Yeah.
No, that's an important point. And that's part of it too, which I didn't say because I don't like to tell people this because they fight me a little bit. What's happening is your taste buds are going to change a little bit, and your stomach gets a little bit smaller because it's not eating as big as portions. So you're going to get fuller faster, and the things the fat, the oil, the sugar that you think your tongue used to like all the time, as you decrease some of that, it's not as, it doesn't taste as good, and you don't crave it as much in time. It's all a process.
I can add a few things. I wasn't here Tuesday, sorry. It's a retired life and babysitting's back, but and sweaty because we just finished our fasting cardio. Just some things. The dashboard Roxanne's talking about, I just wanted to add what I do. My husband and I are both retired. Is I have a right and white board refrigerator, and I put down every time I drink. I have markers like 16 ounces, 24 ounces, and it's just a marker for me during the day. I also put, thanks to Roxanne, on my little right and white board when I ate. So I know if I ate at 8 o'clock, then I know 2.5 hours later I'm gonna eat again. So just a right and white board is really good every day. And also, like, if you have an Apple Watch or some type of Garmin, you have your calendar. My husband just woke up. He's wearing a Garmin now, and he's got a new life. He can't believe how awesome. He's a numbers person. So he looks back, and I mean, he wears it sleeping to see how long he slept. So it's really a good indicator, and it has an awesome calendar if you finished your rings or what you finished that day. So that is a dashboard in itself. Right. And we always keep a notebook by our scale, because we have the scale that breaks down your fat velocity and all that. And we each have our own little spirals in our bedroom, and we just kind of put that down like where we are. And it just helps us because it's just monitoring where we are. So that's a good dashboard.
Yeah, that's good.
And the other thing is text Roxanne, because this week it was hard for me. And we did a lot of babysitting. I was worn out every night, and I wanted to pull up my rice cakes, which they're healthy, but not when you eat a whole bag. So I just text her, like, I'm frustrated. I'm down almost 20 pounds, but I mean, I got a ways to go. It was pretty heavy. And so it's good just to text her, because she just inspires you. So it is progress. I mean, like I told her, no one really knows. I mean, I like it to show more that I've lost that much, but I know, and it just gets frustrated sometimes when everybody's eating lasagna around you and I'm eating my lean ground turkey and rice and Brussels sprouts. So that's when I text her that night and like, okay, I need help. So, she's there. She always answers. So yes. Just keep that in mind.
That's true.
Well, I want to say something about what Gretchen said, if you don't mind, Roxanne. Gretchen, I know you said you fell off the wagon and you're going to change your days. And I think what we all need to realize is that we need to forgive ourselves, because if we don't and we carry that baggage around, whether it's in your life, your health, or your business, if we carry that baggage around, your mindset is going to be below the line. You guys remember the victor victim. It applies to everything. We have to forgive ourselves for having a bad day. It's okay, as long as you know that you had a bad day and you move forward.
Right. Yeah. Every day you do good, and you know you're that's progress. Even if you do bad the next day, remember, it's going to take 45 days to create new habits. So it's going to be off and on. You're going to have some good days, you're going to have some bad days, but you know, if you just don't give up and just say, okay, today was a bad day, you know, tomorrow's a new day. Or what I do is, if I have a bad meal, I'm like, okay, that was a bad meal. My next meal, I'm going to do better. So I eat meal by meal, not day by day. And a lot of people do Monday by Monday. I don't understand that. But, you know, they'll say, oh, you know, they fall off the wagon by Wednesday, and then they say they're going to start back again on Monday. But you don't have to do that. You know, if something happens, you just do the best you can. And you're going to find out in time, it's going to become a habit, and it's going to be super easy. It's just not even feel like work anymore.
Does anybody else want to share on the health side? We're a quiet bunch today. All right, so let's pivot then to the business side. Does anybody have an insight or a win that they'd like to share?
I have one. I talked about our customer.
Is that Philip?
Who is that? Yep. Go ahead, Ellie.
Go, say it again.
It was me. I'm like, I'm not ready. No. I've been
Oh my God.
But the customer that I was questioning asked me to do more things for her, and I told her I was just too busy at this point. And it was such a relief for me to say that. So I took my mental status over my financial at that point, because it wasn't worth it.
Good.
So that was our talk was good last week for that.
Congratulations, Ellie. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Rose, did you have something?
No, it was just my my insight on win for business. My insight was, I thought it was really awesome that the KPIs that you talked about, I used to use those when I was a manager for Verizon Wireless, and I don't know why I never thought that could actually be used in performing, you know, and measuring on in my current business. So I thought that was really great that I just would have never thought. And that was one of the everyday things that I used to have to walk in and look at, because we had goals to hit by the end of the month. And that's how we knew we were going to hit them, is if we were on track with those. So loved kind of understanding that. And my win was, I got 100% first time, didn't even have to retake the test.
Hey.
I want to say that I really appreciate your video, because when I pulled open and read through the course material, it was like, it's like, oh my God. So I really appreciate you saying, okay, it's really simple. Just don't stress out over this, because I was stressing over it. So thank you for that video. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. It's you guys that are giving us the feedback, right? Is the reason why these things are happening. So thank you for the feedback that you guys are giving us.
And I'm still excited about my dashboard. Like knowing, I haven't looked at it yet, but I devised it. So that's a start.
It is.
I'm glad I don't know how many people I see a month or a week or whatever, but I devised it, and it's somewhere around here, and I don't know what the numbers are, but baby steps.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, you know it's there, right? It's something you're like, oh, I know I need a dashboard. I know that I should be looking at these numbers, although I'm not, but I will. And I mean, it is. It's all about baby steps, just like with your nutrition.
Right.
Anybody else want to share? Okay. Well, y'all are a fun bunch today. All right. So, Roxanne, I love that you used the dashboard with health. I think that's amazing. I would love if you have some time, if you did like a short video or even something in a Facebook group or something somewhere where we could talk about what goes in that health dashboard. So I think that what you said today was amazing. I love that. All right, who is meeting with their accountability buddy? Oh yes, Gretchen. Okay, that's good. You guys should try to at least meet once a week if you can, even if it's for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes to talk to the person about where you're at and what you're doing. So Gretchen was holding up a worksheet. If you guys haven't been in the Facebook group, I put a worksheet out there. It won't suit everyone. Some people will like it. Some people don't need it. We don't need to see your numbers, Gretchen, or your check boxes. It really helps with mindset. It's a daily checkpoint worksheet. So go back to the Facebook group if you don't know what I'm talking about. And I have a PDF fillable one that I can email to you, which is what I sent to Gretchen after she asked about it on Facebook. The one on Facebook is just a JPEG and you can pull it down and print it. So. All right. Anybody else before we move into questions?
I want to know if anyone else is like putting their, you know, their 3-year goal, their 6-month goal, 90-day goal, 7-day steps to that. Is anyone else putting that together?
I see a couple of heads nodding.
Yeah.
I've done that, Roxanne. I have mine broken down into how many meetings I have to have per week, and how many of those meetings based on percentages turned into prospects and so on and so forth. So when you could break it down to as granular as you want to get. And to answer Trisha's question, you could break that down to as granular as you want to get on the fitness side too.
Yeah.
Things get, you could record what you're eating, how much cardio you're doing. That breaks it down, like recording your blood pressure on that. So it's, both sides are very granular, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah, you could even break down your macros, but that gets crazy. Who wants? I mean, some people, engineer patients like to do that. I don't like to do that.
Yeah, not macros.
Is anybody using an app to track their food or their meals? Anybody? What do you use, Rose?
It was MyFitnessPal, but I'm really bad at getting in there.
Okay, yeah, that's what I have too, MyFitnessPal. And one of the things that I like about it is that they've introduced where you could just scan a barcode. So if you do happen to eat something that is in a package, you can scan the barcode and it will give you all of the numbers for that. I think if you upgrade, it'll give you a breakout of all of the micro stuff, but just the free version will give you macros. So Roxanne, I know you said engineers like those numbers, you know, where am I at? What does that look like? That's in the free app, you can see those things as you look at your meals, and it will actually track your exercise as well. And you can connect it to your Fitbit or your Apple Watch, and it will track your fitness inside there. It's MyFitnessPal is the name of the app.
Right, and I've a lot of my patients come in with that MyFitness, or they show me actually some of the stuff, and I just want to warn people that when you do get some of those apps, they'll tell you how many calories based on your height and your weight, you know, basically how many calories you should be eating, how much they break it up for you and tell you what you're supposed to eat. Don't follow that, because it doesn't matter what your weight is or how tall you are, because it really depends on what your body comp is. You know, if I have a whole bunch more muscle, if I'm 118, say I'm 118 pounds, and I have more muscle mass than another 118-pound woman, and we're both walking on the treadmill, because I have more muscle, my muscles are contracting every time I move, so they're using up way more glucose. So the amount of calories that I'm burning are going to be much different than the amount of calories she is burning. So don't go by those apps, because they have no idea of knowing how much muscle you have. So if you follow those apps, what you're going to find out is you're probably going to start gaining weight. So it doesn't, you know, just kind of keep with the meal plan that we talked about, but it's good to track, you know, how much fat, and, you know, the values or the nutrition facts are going to be okay, but don't don't do their meal plan or their suggestions of how much you should eat, because they're not taking in consideration, you know, your body comp. They're just looking at your weight and your height.
Roxanne, you just said I had 2,000 calories, so be fine.
I said you had 2,000 calories?
I said let them set it at 2,000, 1,000 calories, so be fine.
Yes, if they set it at 2,000 calories, still for some people that's even too much for me. It depends on.
For
it
you,
just-
that
yeah.
is.
And if you put 1,000 in, that's terrible. So,
Yeah.
you know, in time, it's kind of like an experiment. I always say, as you're eating, after you eat, if you're hungry in an hour, it's not enough for you. After you eat, if you're still hungry after 3 hours, you ate too much. So it's really your metabolism. And some people aren't hungry all day long. I had a lot of anorexic patients. And so they started small by just taking a couple bites of food every 2.5 hours. And the time, like 6 months, they were eating huge meals. But she was like, this one girl was actually in high school. But I mean, so as your metabolism gets faster, you're able to consume or to process more food. So it depends on where people's metabolism is, how much food you can eat in a setting. But again, the key is if you eat and 3 hours later you're still full, then you need to back off some of your carbs the meal before. And you got to find your sweet spot.
Yep. So true.
Does anybody have any questions from this week? Go ahead, Rose.
So kind of like Philip, I was having trouble finding equipment in the store. My husband had 15-pound weight, and then I had 5-pound weight, but I know I need a 10-pound weight for some of the exercises that you do, because 5 was too light, but 15 was way too heavy. So what would I do in that situation?
Well, if you're doing an exercise where it involves like say shoulder press,
yeah,
and 5 is what you could do is you could get the 15, hold with one hand, and push up, like something like that. If you're doing triceps extensions and those both are really heavy, you can grab one and you can basically with one weight do the tricep extensions.
Okay.
Until you can find the 10 pounds.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what didn't work was doubling up the 5-pound in one arm. I almost dropped it on my phone. So.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead,
What are you saying,
Philip.
Phil?
Speaking of weights, talk about weights. I just want to say I was looking at Jim. I'm having a man crush on his arms. Just want to put that out there. So.
He turned his video off. He knew you were going to say that, Phil.
Jim, we can't see your arms. Yeah.
He
walked away. Oh, Philip, you got nothing out of that.
I'm having a crush on her too. Wish I looked like that. My goal is to be just like Dr. Roxanne.
Jim, flex your bicep for us.
Oh. Funny.
Well, thanks, Rose.
I think you missed it. Phil was man crushing on you.
He said, man, I can't help it. I have a man crush on Jim's arms.
Having a man crush on your arm, Jim.
All good.
It's all good.
Just, they're just smaller shirts. That's all that.
That's the key. Just wear smaller shirts. That's like, I think, Roxanne, you had in one of your quiz questions, just wear a ponytail. That's what I do. It gives you an instant facelift, just like that.
You can tell on my questions now I was tired, and I'm just cracking myself up. I'm just making the test questions, and I am cracking up as I'm putting some stuff in there.
You know what I did notice? A little free insight. Trisha's, when you answer it correctly, has an explanation of why that's right. But Dr. Roxanne's just like correct and move on.
Here's one for you real quick. Who is it?
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. Put him on mute. So how is everybody feeling about the work? So who's getting through the coursework before they come at least to the Thursday meeting? Are you getting through the online coursework before you come to the Thursday meeting? How many of you are behind?
I'll be caught up by this.
I get it. We all have to forgive ourselves. I said that a few minutes ago, and it's okay. Are you still, even if you're behind on the coursework, are you still getting something out of these meetings?
Yes.
Okay. I figured you were, since you're showing up, because that's important. And we appreciate you guys very much. And your feedback is super important to us. Just remember that there's feedback in the tool as well. So as you get through the coursework, if you can provide us feedback in the survey, that would be awesome. How many of you, so I will say this, I know a few of you text Roxanne, only one person has taken advantage of getting 20 minutes on my calendar. It's open. I have my calendar wide open for you guys. So if you need help, please get the link off of Facebook or text Roxanne and get on our calendars. We're absolutely willing to help you guys. Who's taking advantage of it? Talking to Roxanne offline? Yeah. 20 minutes on my calendar. You guys should. We've opened our calendars up for you guys on purpose.
So is it 20 minutes each or just like total?
Yeah. No, every time you book on my calendar, you get 20 minutes. Every time, I mean, you could do the same with Roxanne. Now, we don't want you to book like 12, 20 minutes on our calendar all at once.
Well, I was saving, like Dr. Roxanne, I send her pictures and I'm like, that's 2 minutes. You know, like that's 2 minutes long.
He is funny.
I'm counting my pictures, Dr. Roxanne.
I know. Well, the funniest thing is Philip sends me pictures and he wants me to look at them to see if they're good. And it was like hamburger buns. It's pork rinds. And I'm like, what part of this meal plan are you not looking at?
Okay. In my defense, when me and Kay do lunch, we go to 2 certain places and we ran down pork rinds because she's doing keto. And she said they're fine. So I said, I'm down with the pork rinds. So I thought we're drinking wine too, but kind of,
It doesn't matter if you're keto, pork rinds aren't fine.
Right.
Somebody better get Kay on board because she's all with.
Where is Kay? I don't see her. I want to see her face.
Oh, her computer shut
did we
down.
lose Kay?
So she lost connection. So
okay.
Yeah.
No, I was just giving you a hard time. That was funny. That was hilarious.
Talk about that actually. People that when they're doing keto, paleo, and stuff like that, they really got the wrong idea of what is good for you and what's bad for you. Just because it's keto friendly doesn't mean it's good for you.
Right. No, that's exactly right. Yeah. And there's really what people don't understand is the keto diet. No one that I know is doing it right. Keto means you're only doing 25% protein. 25% protein for the whole day, and you're doing like 70% fat.
Right.
And that's it. And so, but your protein, the fat can't be protein because you only can do 25% protein throughout the day. So they do, what their idea of keto is steak, eggs, bacon. That's all protein. It's not just fat. It's fat with, that has protein in it. And that's not the keto diet. So somehow, which we all can do, is justify why we can eat pork rinds or steak and bacon and stuff like that. I'm kidding with you, Phil. I'm just kidding, But
is it avocado and oils and stuff like that, isn't it? The actual keto diet. It's like you need to eat walnuts and basically what's that? Legumes and avocado.
Yeah, avocado, coconut oil, just the healthy fats. But it's not supposed to be protein. And so the problem is that people are doing so much protein with it. Now, I do have to say people do lose weight when they're doing protein fats. They lose weight initially, but what they're not realizing is because they're not doing carbohydrates, they're sloughing off all their water. When you eat carbs, you retain fluid. When you're not eating carbs, you dump a lot of water. And so they're losing really water, and then they start losing some muscle. So they become a skinny fat person.
Doesn't this like almost a modified Atkins basically?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every year or every 3 years, some new diet comes around that's basically just Atkins.
They're right.
They just change the name, and they, you know, and they put out all that stuff. So it's like a trend.
Hey, I really appreciate the on the Facebook page, I don't know who did the coleslaw thing and sauteing that, and I never thought to do that. Did you do that, Julia? I need more of that because my diet's getting pretty routine.
Yeah, well, so that was
I need some variety.
that was me, but that was Ellie who gave me that recipe.
I need more of those.
Okay. I can, like, every time I cook, I can start videoing it.
Yeah.
What mix was that? Was it like a bag?
It was a bag of coleslaw mix.
Right. It's called an egg roll bowl.
Your connection's not good, Ellie.
Oh, I wonder why.
Put it in the chat.
How's
Yeah.
that?
So it's like
I get so close because I just exercised. I look awful.
Well, and I modified it from how she told me to send it because I didn't use oil. I didn't use any yellow part of the egg. I used the white part of the egg. But everyone liked it. It was easy. I mean, you just throw it in there, and it didn't take any time at all. And it was good. It was different.
Are you talking about the coleslaw thing?
Yeah.
I didn't put egg in it. I put a cooked turkey patty, just crumbled up at the very end since it was already cooked, and that was all I added to it. And onion. I added onion.
Right.
So.
Yeah. There's the whole recipe. I can put on or Ellie, one of us can put on the Facebook of what it is, but it has also that sriracha sauce.
And I did that too. I did egg whites only, and I did because I had people eating here. I did only half. I think it was 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, and I did 1. The whole. I did for 2. I doubled mine.
Yeah.
So you just have. That's the thing you have to have just to modify it. You know, to make sure it's healthier. But I have easy recipes that we do like for 2 or 3 days. I'm eating my egg whites and my non-fat refried beans right now, 1/4 cup.
There you go. Yeah, you need to put those recipes on the Facebook page, Ellie.
Okay.
Your cooking stuff.
I'm Italian. That's all I do is cook all day, I feel like. But now I got to do the healthy route.
Good.
So does anybody already have Dr. Roxanne's exercise recipe written down where she says do 3 of these? Because my son used to do that for me. He would write down.
Oh, you know what? You want me to write that down for you?
You don't have to write. I could do it. I was just seeing if anybody else wanted to copy homework.
I have it written down.
Okay.
I had to write it down in order to throw it out there. I mean, I just didn't like wing it. So I do have it written down. So I can just copy and paste onto the Facebook.
Yeah. Done. Thank you.
Said exercise recipes?
No, it was my exercise. I did 3 videos on this thing. I did a chest, shoulders, and tricep video, and I did a back and biceps video and a legs video. But it's all just using your body, not a lot of equipment.
Okay. Are they using bands?
Yeah, you could use bands and some light weight if someone wanted to use weight. You could use weight, but for a lot of these people, I knew they were starting, so just using their body. Like I had them doing like 4-count push-ups and you know, tricep dips and stuff like that, where you just use their body. So yeah, so I will write that down on those things. And then I'm so sorry. I mean, I redid those videos just because I didn't realize the dogs were barking and goats were going by. And when I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I didn't notice it while I was doing it. I'm sorry, but they are getting reshot. The videos are being redone.
You're a mom and a pet owner, like all that. That's like, welcome to my Corona office. And there's like kids in the background, and there's like a dog barking. That's totally normal right now.
All right, so Regina, I know you shared with me earlier this week because you weren't able to be on with us on Tuesday, but you chose to work on your business over the weekend recently. So I think that's a win. You should share with the group.
It's a huge win because, you know, when you're a So proprietor, you tend to really just work in the business instead of on the business. So I had an opportunity to identify strategic partners within BNI, and I'm starting a campaign where, you know, regardless of where I'm at and what I'm doing, I'm reaching out to some real strong potential referral partners. So I was excited about that.
Good. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. Somebody shared something with me earlier this week, and I know some people don't like Facebook. It's not my favorite friend. However, many of us have Facebook business pages. And one of the things that we did is we invited our followers from our personal Facebook to like or follow the page of the person that I was talking to. So in this instance, it was someone who owns a law office, an attorney. So while we were on the phone with each other, we got on Facebook. I went to her business page. I said, there's 3 little dots, and you click on the 3 little dots and you say invite friends, and you can invite a subset or you can invite all of them. I happen to have 2,400 people in my Facebook book of whatever you want to call it. And I invited 2,400 people to like her page. And I think that's a really, I mean, it's something so simple. And it's really just cross-pollination of my people now know about her Facebook page, and she did the same thing for me. And Colton, we did it for Bridge the Gap as well. So I think that's a really great way for us to share business without really lifting a finger. You might have to lift one finger to click on the mouse.
So what was the result?
So I had immediately, I had 5 new followers, and somebody reached out to me because they had a question on the program that I had posted on my business page. And the attorney in return had, I think, 6 or 7 of the people that I'm close to liked her page. I don't know that they've reached out to her yet. We just did it yesterday. So I think that's pretty amazing. I mean, all we did was click a button, and people don't have to like it. They can choose to like it, right? And follow that page. So just a way to share things simply. Just a thought. All right, does anyone else have something to share or a question? We'll move into focus if you don't. All right, guess what we're talking about next week? I'm excited. This is probably my favorite topic. Customers. Target market, who are we selling our products or services to on the business side? And then Roxanne has a great topic too.
Stress management. You heard this before. If you don't manage your stress will manage you. And that's really important, because if you don't do that, you have no energy, you feel terrible, you're tired no matter how much you sleep. You definitely don't want to work out because you're tired. You don't want more resistance. So you need to learn to find ways to support your body so that you can, even though you can't take the stress away, but you can make your body more resilient to the stress. So that's really, really important in the business world.
Yeah, absolutely. And not, even when we're talking about customers and really targeting the people who you want to buy and sell your product, you're really thinking about your health in that way too, right? You're really targeting what it is that you want. So it goes both ways, and you guys are going to really love the content that we've put together for you next week. I know many of you are behind. If you need help, please ask. Roxanne and I are here for you guys. We don't want you to just give up. Don't be the person that by the time they get to Wednesday and they say, oh, well, I already ate bad twice, so I'll just start next Monday. Don't be that person. Just get in there and do as much as you can. Somebody was telling me, I don't know who it was, maybe it was Kim, was telling me that she had the videos going while she was getting dressed for work. And that's a great way to kind of at least get through the videos. You can't do the coursework without looking at it and downloading it, but you could watch the videos, and the videos are pretty informative. So you can play them in your car, you can play them while you're getting ready, you can play them when you're getting ready for bed, whatever that looks like, but it's another way to get through the videos at least.
And also on the second part for today, on this tool, this thing about exercise that we have, if you decide to download it, really you only read the first 3 pages. The rest of them are showing how to do the exercise. But that has some important stuff. We talk about aerobic threshold in here, talk about how many reps you should do, how much weight you should do. It's a really easy summation for someone who doesn't exercise and they don't even know where to start. This is a really good thing to get people to start. So again, you just have to really look at the first 2 or 3 pages and it kind of explains it for you. So I definitely would look at that. It will be helpful for you.
Anything else from anybody?
A question. I know that was at the beginning of the session, the questions, and I may need to talk to you, Tricia, because we were at the beach Tuesday, and on the way there, I was listening to the rest of my videos, but I have a hard time I have an Apple on my phone to go to the courses I need to go to. I have to keep putting replay courses, and then it'll skip me to where I need to start. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, because it'll just show me an overview of the courses on my phone, because I just saved it to my reading list. And then when I tried to Zoom at the beach, but it didn't quite work out. I guess I didn't have enough Wi-Fi for that. But I was trying to get them all, but I couldn't. I had to wait because I'm having to replay them when I go into the site. So I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong on my phone, because on my computer, I'm okay, but on my phone, I'm not. So like if I'm somewhere and I want to listen to a video, I'm having to go to replay courses and start over and skip over to where I need to go.
Okay, and Ellie, that may be the browser on your phone that's causing the problem. So I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think it's a technology issue.
Okay.
And I'm sorry that it's doing that. I don't know a way to fix it unless there's a way to actually go to the site on the browser versus the way you downloaded it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's not you though, it's technology.
Yeah, okay. That's my husband taking my plate out for breakfast.
My husband.
All right, well, thank you.
Great.
Yeah, anything else from you guys? So just know you're all awesome and amazing. Forgive yourself if you have a bad day, it's okay. Always keep yourself above the line. Be the victor, not the victim. Any words of wisdom, Roxanne, before we part?
Yeah, eat right and exercise.
Straight to the point. You guys get it. That's why we make great partners, right? That's why we make great partners. All right. You guys are awesome. We will see you on Tuesday.
Have a good day.